Oh, okay. So now I'm live. I was talking and I thought it was already live, but I wasn't live already. So tonight we are going to have a guest, Niese, and her channel is Freehandly Made. And she hasn't popped up yet. I can't see her yet on the bottom. So I'm sure she will pop in anytime because she said that she had it all set so that she could do it. And with the time change, it's a little bit different for people because Arizona does not change their time. Either does Hawaii. And so where I was on Pacific time, now I'm on Mountain Standard Time. And Brian is in here. Hi, Brian. How are ya? I liked your little shelf that you had with all your honey stuff. That was so cute. And I like that you put my little tray that I sent you with the honeybees on it. Linda, how are ya? I hope you having a good night too. And as soon as Niese comes in, I will pop her up on the screen too. And so I thought it would be a great way for you to meet her. And I think you will just absolutely love her once you meet her. And on Monday nights, I thought that I could do some different people to come up on there. And so next week, Anne is coming up. And so if you have a channel and you're interested in coming up on a Monday night, I know it's late for people on the East Coast, but just let me know. Jake, how are ya? I hope you are having a great time. How are the girls? Oh, and look who's here. It's the birthday girl. The birthday girl is here. Hi, Shelly. How are you? And Niese is here, so I am going to pop her up. Okay, so let me take that off. Add to screen. Hi,
everybody.
How are you?
I'm good.
See if I can make it different ways.
Oh, that's better. Oh, look, you got my logo in the background. That's so cool.
I put your logo, and across the bottom, it's got your website, your YouTube channel.
That is so cool.
So I thought it would be fun.
Aww.
And you know Shelly from Healthy Homestead Chick?
I do. Happy birthday, honey. I hope it was a good one. Hope you got some fun stuff.
I'm
hey,
sure
Castle Hives.
Doug gave her some fun things for her birthday. And people are saying hi to you. You can see the chat, can't you?
I can, yes. Hi, okay. Nanya and everybody.
Yeah, so I thought it would be fun to have you up here. I talked about you in my members video today, and I told everybody to stop on over. They could meet you if they didn't already know you, and I just thought it would be great fun. So
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for sharing my kiln little thing, my little post, because I had people from your channel come over and tell me that they came from your channel.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, so that was very kind of you to do that for me. So
that makes me happy. I want to get me a snowman. I got to get on your Etsy shop. Are they posted on your Etsy shop yet? Your snowman?
I don't have my snowman on there yet, but I can just send you one.
Okay. I want one.
In fact, I'll send it to you because you are on my live tonight. Okay.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
I'm going to write a snowman down. So I'll mail it tomorrow because I have to mail.
I just love watching you do your fused glass. I think it's so neat.
I don't know what the deal is.
I love all that art type stuff, though. I just love watching people create stuff with their hands.
Well, you are creative. You know, those pumpkins, the colors of yarn that you have been using have been fabulous.
Oh my gosh, I love that yarn. There's so many different ombres and stripe and holy cow.
Yeah, it is.
I'm obsessed with pumpkins now. and it came from your video. That's where it started. When you showed how you made your pumpkins, I'm like, ooh, pumpkins.
Yeah, and you crochet all the time, so it was perfect.
I do. You know? I just got done with one late last night.
Oh, show it.
I did a scarf.
Ooh, that's nice. Nice yarn.
And I'm making a pumpkin out of this yarn because I have yarn left.
It's awesome. Totally awesome.
It's really nice. There's a video on this.
Oh, okay.
On my channel.
I'll watch it.
But yeah, I just got it done last night.
Awesome. And we better say hi to some people. Like Southern Blessed Homestead is here. And the Vineyard Chicks are here. You know, you got to love the Vineyard Chicks. I tell you.
Oh my gosh, I love those girls galore. I got their calendar up in my kitchen, and I've already asked them if they're doing another calendar this coming year. They're not sure yet.
Oh, they're not sure yet.
Oh, I know.
Well, because girls, if you do it one year, then you need to do it again because the people that didn't get it the first year can get it the second year. And so, you know, Bunky, get on it. So, but I thought, since some of the people on my channel may not know you, and hopefully they will go over and they will subscribe to your channel, I would ask you some questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Ask away. Yeah, ask away.
Okay. So you live in Montana.
I do.
So tell us about Montana. You know, I mean, don't tell us exactly where you live.
Well,
you know,
no.
But
I live on a base of a mountain in northwest Montana, where it's very cold in the Rocky Mountains. And we literally live like just above 4,000 feet above elevation. So we're pretty high up there. Lots of wildlife. We live on a ranch. This is my father-in-law's place. And he didn't want to sell it. My mother-in-law, my stepmother-in-law passed away from cancer. And so she's buried here. And Sean's grandfather, who lived in the other cabin, we have 2 cabins on this property, who used to live in the other cabin, had passed away long time ago. He's buried here. And, you know, Dad just doesn't want to sell this place, and he wants to even be buried here. And so he asked Mr. Handsome if he'd be willing to move us up here. He was willing, but he had to talk me into it. Because I'm a Southern girl. Living in Florida for over 20 years.
So the weather's a little bit different there.
A lot different. The culture is different here too. And sure. I went from a major career woman supervising the 52 bookkeepers of the school district where we used to live. We used to live in Escambia County, and I was in charge of all 52 school bookkeepers. So I went from a high-powered, you know, supervisory job to here I am. My job is to take care of the boys.
Oh my gosh. But
so culture shock.
Yeah, after you get through that culture shock though, Montana is a beautiful place.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I think my first year I lived here, almost every single day driving back to the cabin from like grocery shopping or whatever, I would say, "Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty." My husband would laugh. He's like, "You really have to say that every time we come back home?" I'm like, "But look, it's so pretty. Look at the mountains."
Yeah, gorgeous. We have been to lots of places in Montana, and it is just a beautiful state. You know, truly beautiful. And we have little Frenchie in Big Texas, and
hey, Frenchie,
and Judy D. How are you? Oh, look at that. 60 years in Southern California to Great Falls. Great Falls.
Oh, yeah. See, girl, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is just, you know, like we're down in Arizona now. You know, we're basically my whole life I've lived in the north, you know, and then Joe retires and we decide to go for the winters down here. And there's things to adjust, you know. I mean, it's great having every day being 86 to 90 degrees. But I do miss the snow. I miss,
It is pretty.
yeah, and I miss different things, but then there's things down here, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so it's interesting. And Linda said that I've been looking to buy in Montana. See?
Mm.
Tell me, are the prices just like skyrocketing like they are in Wyoming?
Yes. Yes. My friend Phyllis, who I was close with, they lived here only 2 years, and they built their house for like right at about 200 grand,
Hmm.
and they sold it for twice that. They didn't
Wow.
even have it on the market. Literally, they just called a realtor and said, "Hey, we're kind of interested in moving back to Kentucky. Can you come
Mhm.
over and just tell us how much you think we could get for it?" So he kind of gave them an estimate. The very next day, he called them and said, "Hey, I have somebody interested in your house. They want to come see it right
Wow.
now." And it
Wow.
was sold like that. I was like, I'm like, man, I don't even have a chance to even get used to the idea that you're moving away from me.
I know
But
that
she
is
has promised me that she has a guest room for me in Kentucky in her bigger
well,
house.
well,
So
see? So when it gets
I can
too
come
cold
anytime I want.
and the snow's about 5 feet high, you can
Oh,
just say,
goodness.
I need to get on a plane now.
That's right. That's right. I told her, I said, I'll take you up on your offer.
And the vineyard chicks say, we thought it was great how you got away from the snow just in time. Because it was like a week after we
Oh, I
left,
know.
18 inches of snow back home.
I know. I saw that.
It was awesome, actually. And but my mom and dad waited because my dad got a really good deal, I think, on the plane ticket. So he wasn't coming
Uh-huh.
down. Well, first they were going to a conference first, but then they still had time. They could have got here and then it snowed. Where they live between Hill City and Keystone in the Black Hills,
Yeah,
they got all kinds of snow too.
they did. They did. We even got some of that snow. We didn't get near the inches that you all got up there in Idaho, but we got in Wyoming. But we got a couple inches. Luckily for us, though, it kind of melted, so it didn't really stick around. But then Yogi Hollow Farm got some of that snow too.
Yeah,
It ended up where she was at, and they got quite a bit.
yeah.
So
It was crazy because up by Deadwood, which isn't too far from where they are, um,
mhm,
they had 27 inches of snow.
mhm.
That is craziness
They
for
got
that early in
dumped.
the year.
They did. They got dumped. I'm like, no, better them than me. My time's coming. I don't want it yet. I'm not ready.
Gulf Coast, how are ya? Thanks for
Hey.
stopping by. How are ya? He told me that he is busy doing stuff because he's
Yeah,
always
every time I hear you address that channel, I think of where I used to live. I'm like, oh, Pensacola, Gulf Coast.
finding. It's awesome. Like Rick at Lala Farms, they live down in Florida. And some of the other gardening channels that I watch, Geeky Garden, and they're
Mhm.
all in Florida. And um, there's some really nice things about Florida. But there's bugs, big bugs.
Yes, very big. The palmetto bugs that are basically flying cockroaches.
Hmm.
I don't miss those. My Alabama farm life lived very, very close to where I used to live.
Oh, really?
Literally. Yes,
Ah,
yeah. So every time I see her taking one of her trips, she always passes through right by the town that I used to live in. I used to live in a little suburb town of Pensacola. And
oh
on
my.
one of her videos, I literally saw my exit to where my house is. I'm like, oh, there's my exit. Oh my
Yeah, it's just
gosh.
so
It
funny
just
when
brings back so many memories.
yeah, and some friends of ours that lived in Gillette, they have YouTube channels and they just are moving back home to Michigan.
Mhm.
And on one of the videos, they're going through Rapid City and down the road to Hermosa and stuff. And I'm saying, I know those roads. I know exactly where you are.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. But they got there and I'm sure it's going to be a great adventure for them.
Boy, definitely. I'm sure. 100%.
Okay, so I know you do quilting. You do crochet. What other kind of crafts do you do?
I do doll restorations on Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah.
The vinyl dolls and the soft sculptured ones.
Awesome.
I do color pencil art. When
Oh,
I was in high school, I used to do charcoal pencil um, picture work, and I used to paint. Haven't picked up a paintbrush in a while. I've been tempted, but I've got other things going on right now. I've always been very artsy all through high school.
that is awesome.
I love
Um,
all things art.
but I do too. The girls are asking if we saw Kathy's scorpion on her bed last week. I saw that. It was
No,
literally
I did not see
climbing
it.
up her
No.
bedspread, and she knocks it down and she whacks it. It was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't
yeah.
miss those either.
And
Mm-mm.
they say that there's scorpions here in Yuma, but I've never seen one. And my dad has been coming down for mom and dad for 25 years, and dad says he hasn't seen one. So
My grandmother, before she passed away, she lived in Yuma. So I've been to Yuma quite a bit.
oh, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
anytime you get too cold, you just come down and you can.
Okay. She loved Yuma. She loved the heat. She loved
Did
living
she
there.
did she live there all year round?
She lived in Yuma all year round in a retirement community. And so, we always had to make arrangements to come visit because she had to get everything approved and we could only be there for so many days. And but we loved visiting her when she was with us, and she loved Yuma. She loved it. Yeah. She lived there for many, 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 many years. Many years.
We have really enjoyed it. And Joe can go golfing anytime he wants to. And the really nice thing is that my parents are on the property right next to us.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And my dad is 90, my mom is 83. And I think it's just a good special time, to be able to see them. Because like with us living in Wyoming and live in South Dakota, we see them during the summertime. But, you only see them, we go over to South Dakota once, twice a month, sometimes more if there's things to do. But when you see them every single day, I've often said that you learn sides of your parents that you don't know.
Yeah.
And so that has been, that's been very cool. And I've liked that a lot.
It's really awesome that you're able to do that, because a lot of people aren't able to do that because of their careers and jobs and how far they live away from it. Like my family is very spread out. I'm the one that lives the farthest away, which my mother is not happy about. I was supposed to relocate to Texas, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I have to definitely make sure I make it to see my mother every so often,
Well, sure. Yeah. Yeah, because those things are important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and my dad too, but mom is the one that makes the most voice about it.
That's the way it is, though. And saying that how nice it is to be close to your parents. And, so many of my friends' parents, they don't have them anymore. They're gone. And so, to have my dad at 90 years old is really a blessing.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And so, if they were gone, we would probably buy a different place, but as long as they're here, I want to be able to walk across the yard and see my mom and dad.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I would want to too.
Okay. So, part of your channel is dedicated to autism.
Yes.
And so would you tell everybody about that part of your life?
I am an autism advocate. I am a late diagnosed autistic. I was diagnosed at 43 while we were getting our son assessed. Oh my gosh, that's a whole story in itself. But short story. I'll make it short. When we were getting my son assessed, we had to answer a whole bunch of, we had paperwork we had to fill out, and we had questionnaires that we had to also answer on our son and also on ourselves. Well, when I got my questionnaire, it was like 100 questions, and it was like, the little circles that you had to fill out. And it was like a range from 1 to 5, 5 being always feeling this way, whole 9 yards. And I about lost it because I don't like answering questions on paper. It drives me nuts because I have a weird thing that goes on with my vision when I try to read. It's one of the autistic traits that I found out later. And it's just the sheer volume of the questions. And Sean, my husband, he had his done like that. And I'm sitting here like 45 minutes later, still trying to fill out this questionnaire. And I'm like stressed out. Anyway, I finally get it done. And I told the therapist that I was not happy. And he's like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Well, when we went back for our son's results, he's like, well, your son is definitely level 2 autistic. And he's like, I really want to assess both of y'all for the spectrum using the adult ADOS test. Would you be willing? Well, my husband was like, no. And me, I'm like, yeah. Yes, I've always known that I didn't quite fit. Like I never really found my place, and I always had a hard time connecting with people on a face-to-face, 3-dimensional realm. Okay. Video like this, I can do great at, but in physical person, it's very difficult for me. And I had I had a rough childhood growing up trying to figure out life, and I had an identity crisis going on. And so I wanted answers. And so, yeah, I was like, let's go, let's do this. And oh my gosh, that whole assessment thing, I'll never want to have to redo it again. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was just like one of the things that I had to go through that I hated was I had to sit in his office for 45 minutes and figure out what to do while he just stared at me for 45 minutes. I couldn't stand being stared at for 45 minutes. I didn't know what to do with myself. And then the other thing I had to do was he had like this plastic Ziploc bag just full of little toy trinkets, and he dumped them on the table, and he said, okay, create a story with these things. I'm like, create a story? What? I can draw, but you want me to create a story? So I literally just mimic the tea party from Alice in Wonderland is literally what I did. So he got done studying all his notes and whatever, and I had to have blood tests. You have to rule all kinds of things out, right? Right. And so I came back, and he's like, Miss Patterson, you're definitely on the spectrum. You're like level 1 on the spectrum. You're autistic. I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, you're autistic. I'm like, well, what does this mean? And so then I had to learn what that meant. And it was great because I was able to start forgiving myself for a lot of my shortcomings that I had, because now my world made sense. Sure. All the little missing pieces and puzzles of my life finally came together and gelled. And I understood why I was doing the things I was doing, and understanding some of the things that I was doing that's not healthy, that was contributing and making my identity crisis worse, like masking. And I was able to start healing and learning, okay, who is Niese? Who am I as a person? Right. Not only who am I as a person, but why did God make me this way? And what's my purpose? What does God want me to do with this information? Right. And so, yeah. And I had been praying to God for several years. As since the time that I accepted Christ as my savior, I had been asking him for answers, that I needed help, and I couldn't figure it out, and what's going on with me. And he provided the answers. And one of the things is I want you to educate. I want you to educate. And I want you to share with people what it's like to be an autistic Christian. And I want you to be the light. And I want you to try and spread acceptance and point everybody to me. Use your story to point people to me. And that's where Freehandly made the channel birthed. That's fabulous. My Facebook blog came first, and then the YouTube channel came second. It did sit dormant for 2 years until Gail Southern Living came along, my sister-in-law.
I love Gail.
and she said, no, you need to do something with this channel. I'm like, well, I have some videos on there. She's like, no, you need to start connecting with people. I'm like, no, I don't do connecting with people well. She's like, you just, she goes, I'm going live. Will you come to my live? I'm like, yeah, I'll come to your live. You know, I support you. And then she had me up on her panel, and she was
good.
Yeah, she did an impromptu interview with me on her channel and said, here's Niese, y'all. She's like, now start creating content. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's amazing how you just do not know how many people you touch.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, people send you emails, and some, you know, when people get closer to me, I let them have my phone number, and we text or we call and things like that. And it changes you, and hopefully you are uplifting them.
It's a 100% blessing. It really is. It amazes me, some of the stories that have come my way because of a video that they saw of mine sharing my story. Right. Something that I have a hard time with, that I've might have overcome a certain thing. And yeah, it blows my mind. It really does. And one of the things I found out is how many other women that are exactly like me that did not get diagnosed until they were in their 40s or older. Yes.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is strange. So I researched it. And it's very common for females to go under the radar and get missed and go undiagnosed their whole lives. Their whole lives.
So interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
And Doug is here from His Way Homestead. And Doug, we wanted to know what you got Shelly for her birthday.
Yes. We want to know what fun stuff you got for Shelly.
Did you take her out to dinner? Did you buy her a new diamond ring?
What'd you do?
What did you do, Doug? You might not want to tell
I'm all about some birthday dinner. I will not lie. I will go out and have my husband get me a big old steak.
Yeah, my favorite is a ribeye.
Yes, me too.
Oh my
gosh, me too.
You know, because in Wyoming, we have some good ribeyes.
No, Doug is hurting. His neck is hurting really bad. Doug, we'll be praying for you. Dinner and a gift that she wanted. What was the gift? Shelly, what was the gift? She said no diamonds.
She must not have wanted one.
What'd you have for dinner? What'd you eat for dinner? What'd you have? Did you have a steak? Was it a ribeye? Sushi. Oh, I miss sushi. Oh, I miss sushi so bad. I love sushi.
Oh, and Reese's.
A Reese's Blizzard. Oh, those are so good.
Yeah, Snickers Blizzards are good. Reese's Blizzards are good. Yeah. We haven't had a blizzard since we've been down here. And that isn't very far from us.
Have you had their pumpkin pie blizzard?
No.
Oh, it's only during this part of the season. It's going to be going away soon, but their pumpkin pie blizzard, oh my gosh, it is heaven in a cup, I tell you.
I love pumpkin.
Good.
Anything pumpkin.
Then you'll love it. It's so good.
I'm going. Shelly says it was a cool charging station that charges her phone, her watch, and her iPods. That is awesome. That is
nice.
I have to tell you, I like gifts that I can use.
Me too.
You know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of ladies, they want, I don't know, they want something, but I like it that I can remember, you know, I got this, you know, before. And I remember, you know, like when I was growing up, you know, we always got all these presents, you know, you get them from your grandmas and you get them from your aunts and you get them from all these different people. Well, my Aunt Grace, she was older, you know, she was, you know, I mean, she lived to 90 something, but when I was little, she was probably in her 70s. And every Christmas we got socks. Oh, and we would complain, I'm not opening that present. All I'm going to get is socks. But what presents do I remember from Christmas are my socks. And I love socks now. You know, my girls buy me socks at Christmas because they know I love them. It's just crazy.
I love the furry socks that you can get at Walmart that have the aloe in them. Have you seen those yet? Have you had? Oh my, you gotta get some. I live in them during the winter time. Earl, you're in Arizona, but they are so soft and cozy. And then when you take them off the next morning, your feet are it's like your feet have had a little foot treatment overnight. It's wonderful.
I'm going to get some anyway
They're
because I
wonderful.
brought my really warm socks so that early in the morning, when I get up, I could wear them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have already.
And they say aloe on the front of the package, and the package is pink. And then they have like the different designs. Yeah, they have them at Walmart. Oh my gosh, they're wonderful.
I'm going to look. Okay.
I need some more.
Can you have too many pairs of socks?
Nope. Nope. Never too many socks. If I knew how to crochet my own socks, I would. And there might be a time when I will learn how to crochet socks.
I bought this little thing, and you're supposed to be able to make socks with it. You know, it's not one of my round, knitting machines, but it does. You loop it. It has pegs, and you loop it over, and then it has a certain way that you do the corner where your heel is. But I haven't tried it yet. But I do have the yarn for it. But
you'll have to do a review and let me know how it goes. Maybe I'll venture and get me one of those.
I mean, there's a lot of good YouTube videos on how to make socks too. And it's just, I just haven't set aside the time, there's just always so many things to do.
I know. Yeah. My project list is huge for this holiday because I'm making gifts this year.
Oh, are you? I like to make gifts too.
Bye, Cop Coast. Yeah. Matter of fact, I just ordered my yarn tonight.
Oh, did you?
I did. Took me all day trying to decide which brand I wanted, how soft did I want the yarn to be. Oh my God.
There's about 1 billion different kinds of yarn now.
There's too many choices, and my poor little ADHD brain can't handle it.
Well, even when you go into like Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's, and there's just rows of yarn.
Yes.
And it's just like, but the best yarn place I've ever been to is in Portland, Oregon. And it's down below, because you can see the tram from there. And it's like they've combined 4 or 5 buildings together. And so there's room after room after room after room of just yarn. And it is just like my brain, it was like I could have spent days in there,
my gosh.
But I was with other
like
people.
Yarn paradise.
Yeah. And it's just crazy, and there's great yarn that doesn't cost very much money. And then there's great yarn that is just like unbelievably expensive.
Yes. Alpaca is really big. We have this tiny little yarn shop downtown, and man, I wish I could afford that place.
Yeah.
But they have local spun yarn that they sell in there. And a lot of it is like an alpaca blend wool type yarn.
Nice.
And it's
nice,
gorgeous, but it's like $20-something for just a little tiny hank of yarn. Yeah. I'm like, oh, is that laced with gold? Gorgeous. But if I ever win the lotto.
That's right. And bye. Thanks for stopping by. And Shelly says that she loves yarn and she has a collection, but she rarely makes anything. But,
I hear that about a lot. And I luckily so far I only purchase yarn and I use as much of it up as I possibly can, and I won't buy for the next project until I'm done with all the yarn that I have. So that I don't end up with a whole bunch of, because I have way too many Cabbage Patch Kids, and can you imagine what I would do with yarn? Because it's a lot cheaper than a Cabbage Patch Kid doll. Like, yeah.
Oh, I have lots of yarn.
Mr. Hanson would only put up with so much.
So, when you moved to Montana, did you already have the kids? or did you have kids after?
We had, well, my two daughters are adults now, and
Okay.
they're actually both still in Florida. And our son, we already had our son. So when we moved here, our son was 8 years old. Yeah,
oh, 8 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did he like that transition?
He did a lot better with it than me.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of a breeze for him. I don't know. I guess because the school is like super, super tiny here, like is extremely tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And literally they only have one teacher for each grade all the way through high school. That's how tiny it is. I think their graduating class last year was 23 kids. Was the senior graduating class. Yeah, it's that tiny. And so, yes, he loves it. And he does a lot better because of it, because, you know, he's his ESE teachers have the time to spend with the students in the classroom. They don't get pulled out, and he gets a lot more support. So it's been good for him all the way around. But he liked it because he knew mommy wasn't going to be working while he was in elementary school anymore, which means he didn't have to go to daycare anymore. He hated going to daycare. He hated it. And then he was going to get to see daddy more. So for him, it was a win-win all over the place. And he was excited about seeing snow. He's always wanted to see snow. And he loved the snow. He loves the snow. So him and daddy plays in the snow. I watch from the window where it's warm. I get out in it every once in a while. But for the most part, I stay in here because I don't deal with cold well. But yeah, they love it. So he did really well.
Doug wants to know what it's like to live in Montana. And Charmaine says, where in Montana I lived in Hot Springs and Plains. Is that anywhere close to where you guys are?
Hot Springs is several hours from us. I live in the Bitterroot Valley, if y'all know where the Bitterroot Valley is.
I know where that is.
Yeah, that's where I live. I live in the beautiful Bitterroot Valley, and it is a different way of life here. It's definitely no one's in any hurry to do anything around here. That was hard for me to get used to because I came from such a fast pace, get it done now, instant gratification lifestyle to your plumber may not show up for 2 days. I've never prepped in my life. I've definitely never been on a ranch or been a homesteader. I've always lived like 2 minutes down the road from a store to up in the mountain. It takes us at least 35 minutes or longer to get anywhere in town near a grocery store. And yeah, they're not in a hurry to do things. So you have to be prepared. You need like a plenty of stashed water in case you have a well problem and you need to go to the bathroom. You need to be able to pour water in your toilet. You know, things like this. You know, these are things I never thought about until I moved here.
Well, yeah, because you wouldn't have to, you know.
No, because, you know, everything is just so convenient and you just don't, it's a whole different life here. But I will say that we are definitely more grounded now that we're here, and we definitely appreciate things a lot more being here. Our son was in Cub Scouts when we were in Florida, but Cub Scouts here is different because they're out in nature a lot more here, and they learn about the plants and how to identify them, and they learn how to respect and study animals from afar. They learn about leave no trace behind, which means picking up after yourself. They learn about fire safety. It is a whole different lifestyle here and frame of mind here. And here, they don't care if it's cold. People get out in the weather here. They go skiing, they go hunting, they go snowmobiling, they go, what's the thing where they wear the fat skis and they walk on them? They do that, whatever that's called. I can't remember what it's called. They do it all here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Zay got to ice fish last year. He got to learn how to ice fish.
awesome.
And they did a thing called the Klondike camp, and it's survival camp, and it's how they built a sled from scratch. They built a rescue sled from scratch. These are little Cub Scout kids, little kids with tools in their hands, and they practiced on somebody's. And it was here where we live, couple ranches down, who also have a big pond like we do. It was completely frozen over and safe. And they practiced rescuing people. Like they pretended like they fell on the ice, and they practiced learning how to rescue somebody in that situation. It was crazy. Like he would never have learned any of that where we lived.
Right.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain how different it is here, but it's in a good way of how different it is here.
Doug's asking if land is cheap, but I would say no. Yeah, because the prices in Wyoming have just land, everything skyrocketed. And from people I know that live in Montana, they've told me too that it's just skyrocketing.
It is, and it's getting higher and higher. We've got people just flooding in from like California and Oregon and Washington and a couple of other states, and it's skyrocketing. Matter of fact, we were thankful that our father-in-law wanted us to take over this ranch and live in this cabin, because there's no way we could afford it otherwise. Like it's that expensive.
Right. And what we are seeing in Wyoming is that people are buying things and they've only seen videos. They haven't even actually come to Wyoming and walk through, the places they're buying.
Yeah. My father-in-law had an offer on this land, and this is 30 acres that this cabin and the other cabin sits on. He had an offer from somebody in New York to buy this for over $1 million. Sight unseen.
Wow.
And that was 5 years ago. Can you imagine?
Right.
From the internet.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
At your house, do you heat with wood, or how do you heat your house? The cabin?
Well, unfortunately, right now we have base heaters. We have a wood stove downstairs, but my father-in-law didn't put vents in the flooring, so it would only warm downstairs. And the flume is actually outside of the cabin from the very bottom floor up. So the flume gets too cold, and we can't get the flume to warm up. So we can't use that stove because it blows the smoke in. But we do still have a flume opening on this main floor where there used to be a wood stove. So we are going to be putting a wood stove in here, because I told my husband, I want a way to be able to heat this house if the electricity goes out. Because he was talking about doing a pellet stove. By Doug, he was talking about doing a pellet stove. I'm like, that's not going to work, because if the electricity goes out, there's nothing to move the pellets around. The pellet works off electricity. I want to get away from electricity. So yes, we're going to get a wood stove, hopefully next year, this coming year. Hey, dragonflies. And the electric bill here is crazy high. I fainted when we got our first month electric bill, when we had the heat on, and we were very, very careful with how we regulated the heat. And we dressed warm, and we wore warm fuzzy socks. Like, we were careful, very conservative. And when we got that electric bill, I about fell out. I'm like, we need a wood stove. Stat.
we put a wood stove in our basement, and then we made vents into our floor. And then we have a fan that pulls it up from the basement, and then it rotates down through the other one, just automatically. It does it. And then we have, fans in the ceilings. And we basically, before we came to Arizona, we just heated our whole house with wood for 10 years.
That's the ideal thing to do. That's what we wanted to do with the stove downstairs, the wood stove downstairs. But because the flume is completely on the outside of the cabin, covered behind boulder rocks, we're having that issue, and it's going to cost more to fix that than to just put a wood stove up here. So
just saying that she didn't know that pellets work off electricity, but it
Mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first went to look for a wood stove, because our neighbors had a pellet stove, we looked at them, but there were two things I didn't like. One, it runs off electricity. Two, what if I can't get pellets?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, what do I do?
Yeah.
So the stove that we ended up getting, they actually make in Canada, but we did buy it in South Dakota, and it's a Sedona or Sedona. And you could put like 18 different things to burn in there. Anything from coal to corn shucks to wood. It lists all these different things. And then we got a stainless steel top. So you could actually cook on there if you had
Yes,
to.
that's what I want. I told my husband that like 2 days ago. I'm like, when we go shopping for one, I want to make sure we get one that I can cook on top of it in case we lose electricity. And no big deal. We'll just cook on top of the fire, the wood stove,
Yeah. The other option that I thought would always be kind of cool is to have a wood burning stove, that you cook on.
Oh,
like
yeah, that would be cool.
But the only bad thing is in the summertime,
yeah,
I have to heat up my house because I have to cook with wood.
Yeah.
But my grandmother had one of those, and I just loved the way things tasted. And, she's using all these little tiny pieces of wood and you putting it in there. And I like the idea of it, but it does heat your house up in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we just got that top. So if the electricity went out, we could still literally cook an egg on there if we wanted
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so it was a good option for us. And, it was so efficient, And so when we a lot of times when we come down now, it's either going to snow before or it's going to snow afterwards. Like last year when we got back from Arizona in April, it snowed a whole bunch of times. So we used the stove all spring.
I had snow the first week of June last year.
We've had that too.
This last first week of June, I had snow.
Yeah. 2 years ago in May, we had 10 inches of snow at the end of May. And it was like, what? I had stuff in the garden. You're covering stuff up. Some things survive. Some things don't survive. It's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The Vineyard Chicks say, does that mean the metal stove was put inside the fireplace or chimney? I must have missed something. We have a wood burning fireplace. We can't cook on it. Yeah, because a lot of them you can't cook on it. They don't have those things on top. And probably 90% of them don't.
Yeah, that's one of those things you have to really look for it.
Yeah, because what you need, what you want, because some people just want it to, warm the house. I love the smell of a wood stove.
Oh, I do too, especially if you put the apple wood in there.
Yeah.
Apple wood. Oh, it smells so good.
It is. It's just amazing. So tell me, what is the main goal of the direction that you want to take your channel? What kind of directions? Channels change.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they do. Here's the special thing about my channel. It literally represents the way my mind works. I'm all over the place.
Awesome.
Literally. And it's probably going to stay all over the place because that's just who I am naturally. So I go in waves, which my autistic brain does. I hyper focus on one thing. And like right now, I'm like hyper focused on crochet. So you're going to see a lot of crochet going on right now. And it's also winter. So what's a girl to do?
Right.
But I do need to start putting out some more autism videos because I'm getting requests for that. So I'm gonna try. Yes, I've got some things lined up. I've got to record them and get them ready because I do PowerPoints for those, so I can keep track of what I'm saying, so I don't go off on a tangent and have a squirrel moment and go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I use PowerPoint when I do those videos, so I don't lose track of what I'm doing. So this is the perfect time to do that because it's winter and I'm not out on the ranch doing stuff right now. So you'll see a lot of crochet probably, and you'll see some autism videos coming out very, very shortly. So
Awesome. But like the reason why I wanted my channel to have homesteading in it was because there's just so many facets of what you do,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I didn't want to have to I didn't want my focus to be so narrow that I couldn't, people go, well, that's not what your channel's about. Well, I can do whatever I feel like because that's what, you do on a suburban homestead. You do all kinds of things,
Mm-hmm.
things that, that help you as a family unit, things that bring in income. You just do all kinds of stuff.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're at the very beginning of our homestead journey. This last growing season was our very first season of me growing anything ever. And, I want chickens, but I can't have chickens until I have surgery because I have to be able to walk down to the barn and take care of those chickens. And right. I need surgery before I can do that. And I have to be completely rehabilitated. So, unfortunately, chickens and goats. I think my husband wanted goats. I think that's what he said. Oh, he may change his mind, but definitely chickens because I want my own eggs. I've had farm fresh eggs and I'm spoiled. So I would like to have, because I'm sorry, store-bought eggs do not taste the same.
No.
And we want our garden to get bigger. We want to expand on our garden. And, and so I'll be sharing some of that on my channel too, especially for those who have never done it before. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I just want to say hi to Jan.
Hey Jan. Oh, hey Jan. Y'all, I sent her a Marco Polo video the other day. I went outside in my t-shirt just for her in like 30-degree weather to show her the snow behind me. And I get a Marco Polo back from her saying, "You keep it. We don't want that here."
She is so funny. And I like her icon.
I do.
That's very cool. I'm always impressed with people's icons.
She has a funny story about that icon. You'll have to ask her about it one day.
Oh, well, maybe she will come up on a Monday night.
She does come up on a Monday night. She's a blast.
Yeah, because she's like a hoot.
She is.
And so
you just want to make sure that you get her and not the loose faucet. Oh goodness! I love Jan. She's one of my favorite human beings.
I agree. She's I find her. You see her different places all over the place. Different channels. Supporting different people, and I like that about people. Channels.
I love shouting out channels.
Now, on your homestead, so you started your garden.
Yep.
So you're going to expand it this year.
We do.
What about a greenhouse? So that it would.
My greenhouse confuses me. Okay. I look at the greenhouse and I'm thinking it looks more like a she shed. It's like just one side is windows, but the other side is all wood. It's insulated. It has a fan and it has a light. It has electricity. And it gets very, very cold in there in the winter. So it doesn't get enough sunlight, really, and not as much sunlight as some other people's greenhouses that I see. So one of my goals is I wanted to do it this year, but honestly, I don't know if it's going to happen. And that was, I want to grow all year long, and I want to use that little she shed greenhouse to do it. But I do know what I need to make it happen. So it's just being able to get what I need to make it happen. And that is, I need some full spectrum lighting in there. Mm-hmm. I need some heat mats, and I need to replace the heater that's in there because bless its heart, that heater is 50 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And it's ready to be laid to rest. So I get that all fixed and set up, then I can grow in there during the winter and have my lettuces and my tomatoes.
Well, yeah, because in northern Montana, to grow tomatoes that will be red in your space, time frame, that can be difficult.
Well, yeah, especially when you're in a microclimate like I am. I am thinking I'm a 5B and I'm not. I'm a 2B because I'm right in that microclimate pocket. My father-in-law is 2 towns down, living in his nice house in a 5B area, bragging about how much sooner he got his tomatoes. Well, yeah, you didn't have no snow. Turkey.
Well, and Montana is funny along that ridge of Montana that with so many different microclimates, because Flathead cherries, who would think that in Montana you can grow Flathead cherries?
Oh my gosh, Flathead. If y'all have not had Flathead cherries, you have not lived.
Oh my.
They're so good. Yeah. They're like gold around here. They're as much they are I would say they are just as popular as huckleberries.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because they literally bring truckloads down to Wyoming and people just gobble them up.
They're so good.
They are good. They're like when you go to Washington State and you get the cherries right off the trees. It's just incredible. And in Wyoming, you pay a pretty penny for Flathead cherries.
Yeah. They're cheap where I'm at. Yay!
Yeah, so
we buy them by the bag full and then I flash freeze them.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, flash freeze.
Yeah. And I mean, I've even taken Flathead cherries and put them in the canning jars, filled it with water and canned them.
Oh gosh, yes.
Juice. And so good.
Juice. My son will drink cherry juice right out of a jar. For real, he will.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And Jan says that she hasn't had Flathead cherries, so maybe
can they get them down there?
I don't think so. You might have to ship her some.
You're gonna have to come up here and visit.
Well, see, that's what she should have to do.
So you can have some Flathead cherries, honey. If you come here at the right time, I can take you up our mountain and take you huckleberry picking, and Mr. Hanson will have to come with us because he'll have to pack some heat in case a black bear tries to join on the party. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You just have a gun.
No problem.
So, what is the craziest animal you've had in your yard?
Oh my gosh. Well, thankfully, we definitely have had a female moose in our back pasture, which is literally right out our door. And I'm pretty sure we've had a black bear. We need to get the trail cameras back out there and functioning because, the apple trees are pretty much eaten up. And then I have some sort of plumish type tree over right by my blueberries, which apparently the bears love. My father-in-law tells me this. He's like, oh, by the way, you don't want to eat them. They're really good for barbecue sauce, but just so you know, the black bears love to eat off that tree. That is in the main garden part of the cabin there, Dad. That's like, just a couple of feet away from the back door. Why did you plant that tree there? If you know, black bears love it. He's like, oh, just clam some 2 pots together. Now scare the bear off. No big deal.
No big deal. Yeah.
This is what he tells me when we first move here. I'm like freaked out. And something's been eating off it because there's hardly any. It was pretty much bare. So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And moose can be real dangerous sometimes.
They are. They're very territorial. Do not try to pet one and do not approach one. Do not.
Yeah. One of our boys and his wife live in the mountains up above Boulder, Colorado. And they get bears, they get moose, and
mountain lions.
Yeah, she's always saying that she wants a big garden, but she just has pots on the high deck because they would come and eat everything.
Did you see the video of my garden for Shed Wars? It looks like Fort Knox. It literally has log panels like this.
Oh, I take that back. I think I have seen that.
It's caged in, and my 4 blueberries are also completely caged in. The blueberries are caged in at the top too, because there's the plum trees right next to it, and so we're trying to keep the bears away from the blueberry. Look, if that black bear wants some blueberries, that black bear is going to be able to get to the blueberries, because that little cage ain't going to stop no black bear.
Oh no. And I have to tell you, one of my favorite shakes or ice cream to have is huckleberry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so by the National Buffalo Reserve, going towards what is that, Kalispell area kind of area, they have a Mennonite a store there, and they sell homemade huckleberry ice cream.
Oh, I bet you that's good.
And I'm like, oh, I'll take 2 scoops, because I'm thinking like Baskin Robbins, right, where they give you the small scoops, right? Oh no, 1 scoop was like. And I'm like, oh, no, you know what? I don't need 2 scoops. 1 scoop is fine. 1 scoop is fine. It was huge. I was like, I'm going to have a dairy attack if I try to eat 2 scoops of that stuff. And it was and it was fresh. It was made with fresh huckleberries. It was so good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Every time I've ever been in Montana, I always get a huckleberry shake, because it is just so good. And there's a little place in Gillette now that gets huckleberry ice cream from someplace up in Montana. And it's delicious.
It is. It is. It's so good.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't tasted huckleberry, I mean, it is related to a blueberry, but
it's sweeter though. It's like a different taste. It's just
yeah.
It's heaven, is what it is.
Yeah. Everybody's saying that they love huckleberries.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Come on.
Hey, it's Captain, oh my Captain, Robert, Mr. Aquarius, is in the house. He was very helpful to me this year, and Lori's World was helpful. And Indiana Backyard Gardener, she was really helpful. She helped me save my her and Lori's World helped me save my tomato plants, because I had never planted tomato plants before, and I thought for sure I had killed them, but it was just they were going through that shocking process or whatever from being replanted. But I was overwatering them, so
yeah,
they helped me with that. But yeah, it's a really awesome community that I learned so much this year. It's crazy. And I got so much more left to learn.
Oh my gosh. I think it's like this never ending process.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because everybody has their tricks, and every soil is different. I always think it's funny when you watch a garden video and they tell you do this and this and this, and you're for sure it's going to work. Well, everybody has different microclimates. Everybody has different soils.
Yeah.
It may work for you, but it may not work for you.
Right.
And look who's here. AZ Highland Homestead.
Hello.
How are you? Yeah. And I have to tell you, Robert at Homestead Aquarius, he's phenomenal. He is.
He is.
He's funny and he's interesting, and he makes me laugh. It's just like
he does.
He comes up with, and his little guy, and yeah, he's great.
He's full of encouragement as well.
He is. Yeah. And I like that, he just, if he sees something on a video that he thinks other people can really use, he shares that video with everybody that's on his channel. And that is fabulous.
It is. That's how I learned about strawberries and how you could pick them earlier. I didn't know that strawberries could ripen in your house. They can.
Yeah, because when they pick them for the store, they're green usually when they're picking them, because they ship, and they store them and they ship them, and otherwise you'd have all these mushy strawberries.
The Vineyard Chick says Wilson for president.
That's right. Wilson. I couldn't think of Wilson's name, and I couldn't think of it. That's right. Well, Niese, we're here an hour, so I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
And
I had so much fun with you. Thank you for having me.
thanks so much for sharing about your channel. And I hope everybody that's over on the chat and the people that watch it afterwards, because I have way more people that watch it afterwards because it is late.
Yeah. I find that on mine too. You'll get a lot more views afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I will put your address in the description part, and I just appreciate that you came on. And
I
we're my
can't wait
first
to
person
see
on a
who
Monday night.
I can't wait to see who you're gonna have on next. I'm
Anne
excited.
is up, and
Oh, I love Anne. Oh,
and
I
so,
love Anne.
I'm gonna try to talk her into telling us her secret with her big tomatoes
Oh,
and different things.
okay.
And so you might learn something about tomatoes from her
Exciting. Yeah, I won't be missing that.
So everybody,
Well, thank
thanks
you
so
so much.
I just so appreciate that you came on and were my first Monday night guest. And
Oh, I feel so honored and privileged. Thank you so much, Sandy.
okay, everybody have a good night, and
Bye, everyone.
thanks so much, everybody. Bye.